But it is that time. Good evening and welcome to the June 23rd, 2020 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the township clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with township policy. Information on remote access to the meeting was sent via email to the Suburban Trends, Daily Record, and Record newspapers, and posted on the township's website.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic
for which it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, Ms. Marsh, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Phelan? Mr. Phelan's here, right?
Here.
Mrs. Russell? Here. Mayor Herod?
What happens if I say I'm not here? Just wondering. I'm here. All right. Presentation. No presentation scheduled for this meeting. At this time, actually, Mr. Brewer, I'm sorry I skipped over you on this one. Would you like to explain the format that we're in currently?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Out of consideration for the effect of COVID-19 and allowing for the public to participate, this meeting is being held via Zoom. The public participation points of the meeting are identified as on the agenda, as they always are. I would ask that any member from the public at the appropriate time that wishes to be recognized by the mayor raise his or her hand, or if there's an issue with that, I will be monitoring the chat function, and throughout the meeting, you will be recognized at the appropriate time.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Okay, as I said, there are no presentations. Now we're moving on to report from volunteers. At this time, if there are reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized.
We have one, Mr. Mayor.
Well, come on down.
Mr. Holberg, we can't hear you.
Technical difficulties.
Come on, Dave, talk.
I don't have you muted, Mr. Holberg.
I don't hear anything. Maybe he
can type it in and somebody could read.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. This is actually Stacy.
say that's not Mr. Holberg. I know he's
No.
I'm reporting for the Shade Tree Commission. We actually did have a meeting yesterday outdoors on Post Road. There were 3 trees that we needed to take a look at, and through conversation and inspection, we've decided to prune up 2 of the trees and remove another. And it was actually nice to see everyone while social distancing outdoors in the fresh air.
Excellent. Is that all you have?
That is all I have.
Well, Stacy from Shade Tree, I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Brewer, are there anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, there's no one else.
All right. So at this time, we're going to be moving into public comments. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized, and provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Brewer?
Mr. Mayor, there is no one indicating they would like to comment by raising their hand.
All right, moving on. There will be another ability to make public comments. So next is the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. As indicated in my report, we are proceeding with the township's progression in relaxing the restrictions associated with COVID-19. As previously noted, PD, DPW came back to full operations June 1st. All municipal staff came back June 15th. We are set to open the municipal building tomorrow, the 24th of June. We're going to do an initial opening with hours between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. As indicated when we closed for walk-ins in March, we never closed municipal operations, and we never actually closed the building. We just closed the walk-ins. So there were incidents where people needed to make appointments, and provided they were chaperoned, for lack of a better description, by staff. So there was a level of comfort by everybody involved. Some of those meetings did in fact take place. So we are moving forward, and we've installed some barriers so that the staff that interacts with the public has the appropriate barriers. Masks will be required by people who are in the municipal building, and we do ask that anyone who visits us please remain socially distant. There's an announcement up on the township's webpage regarding that. I reiterate the fact that there are a number of ways to interact with the township and the staff without coming here, but that doesn't mean people aren't welcome to come here who would like to. With respect to PV Park, I'm happy to note that there are, this is kind of I'm going to meld a couple of items. We've sold 918 memberships as of today.
Wow.
So yeah, we were at a low level, and then we've seen a real big uptick. And I just want to again compliment the staff, DPW, REC, everybody involved, the operations at PV Park, the lifeguards, Tim, the manager. You know, things are really going well there. Swim team is going to be happening. It's going to be an internal season, if you will, because the league is not operating, but we will be operating our swim team. They will be competing against one another and against times, as swimmers often do. We had a point of contact by a nonprofit organization that was looking to rent our swim lanes. So knowing that time is somewhat of the essence, I'm going to try to work with those folks as much as possible. If there's no downside to us and there's an opportunity to increase our revenues and people can use the lanes, barring any objection from council, I'm going to work to try to get that done. Obviously, if it's an adverse impact to us, then it won't be something that's pursued. But if when it's not being used, we can use it to generate some revenue to support our operations. Like I said, unless there's an objection, I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. This was not in my report that was written because it happened over the weekend, but I did post on Monday that the third round of lead and copper testing for the spring of 2020 was completed, and we received all 60 samples finally back over the weekend again. 57 of the 60 were beneath the action level. There were 3 samples that exceeded the action level. If 7 samples or more exceed the action level, we have to provide public notice. So nothing is required at this time, but consistent with how we've done this since the first challenges associated with water quality, we wanted to get that published up on the website as soon as possible. So I just want to include that in my report for the benefit of the council and the public.
How long does that testing go?
We now have the ability, because we had 3 tests in a row that didn't exceed action levels to require public notice, to make application to go back to, a more distant testing program. So we're going to be working with the DEP to see if that's something that's possible and appropriate. Assuming it is, it would be something that we would pursue.
Okay.
The paving program, there's a resolution on for council's consideration this evening that identifies a number of streets for paving or resurfacing in 2020. Those include portions of Mandeville between the Boulevard and West Parkway, Cameron Avenue, an avenue I have to read off of the resolution because I can't read my own handwriting, and the 3 cul-de-sacs off of Alexander Avenue. Alexander Avenue is slated for the DOT improvement, so that's why those 3 cul-de-sacs were added. And lastly, wrestling program, I just want to thank Mark Roninger, Vincent Anello, and Clint Romali. They donated 25 masks to the Township of Pequannock that the staff have been using, to get around the building. So they're nice blue color. Say Pequannock Rec Wrestling. They got the nice logo on them. So I just want to thank the gentleman in the wrestling program for that considerate donation. And that's my report, unless there's any questions from members of council.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It just has to do with some of the paving. I'm assuming we're going off a list of, I remember years ago with the old town manager, we had kind of prioritized some of the streets. I mean, I don't know if those get massaged and changed. Are you taking that into consideration, the worst streets? Or are you kind of just...
I thought
The
we
engineering
prioritized
department.
the sidewalks.
Well, the engineering department also developed an
Oh,
analysis
you're right.
of streets, and there is a list of streets. It is revisited every year. There's a discussion that takes place, and then the recommendations are made based upon the condition of the streets.
Yeah, and you are right. It was, so DPW does that, the staff does that.
Correct.
And then, yeah, I remember, and Dave did correct me, we had looked at sidewalks and prioritized those, I remember. Yes.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah, there's something for both. But there are instances where, a street may be substituted for a reason. The cul-de-sacs associated with Alexander may not have
right.
the level, but because we're doing Alexander, it makes sense. So there's some logic applied in addition to analysis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have 2 quick questions. So for the PV Park and the swim team, the Piranhas will still be able to swim at their normal times. It's just when it's off times for them, possibly that other group can use the swim lanes, correct?
Correct. Piranhas are the priority. So if piranhas want to use it when they normally do or more than that, they're home field. And if there's anything we can do to take advantage of downtime, that's what we'll use.
And we still haven't gotten any guidance as far as other groups using PV Park, like Boys and Girls Club or Spa 23 or anybody else yet, correct?
The Boys and Girls Club has expressed an interest in not using it this year. The challenge is the guidance for camps says they can't leave.
Oh, really?
So if you have a camp, for example, our Greenview camp can't take a trip to the museum. They have to be based in one location. As the Spot 23 essentially uses the PV Park as home base, that's the identified address for the camp. So that is going to operate. We are planning to have them in July.
Got it. But Boys and Girls Club wouldn't be interested in moving to that as their address?
They haven't expressed an interest. They're, I think, trying to work out the details of their camp. My understanding of their operation is they would come over in shifts.
Oh, mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
it was a different type of operation.
Well, if there's any way we can help them, I'm sure that we'd love to. So,
Correct.
All right, that's
we're
all my
working with
questions.
anybody possible.
right. I appreciate that. Anybody else have questions?
Adam, I have a quick question. Are the swim lanes available for people who hold badges? Like if somebody wants to go there and do laps in the lanes, are they allowed to?
Yeah, last year we expanded it so that could be done. I don't think there's any reason not to do that unless there's a lack of lifeguards, because we would have to add a chair.
Okay.
So my thought is if someone was interested in doing some lap swimming, just communicate with the staff at PV Park, and just as they expand and contract based upon how many people are in the water and on the beach, that's something that can certainly be accommodated.
Gotcha. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Russell, maybe a deputy mayor against mayor kind of thing there in the swim lanes. Let's see who can do it. We'll raise some money.
I used to be a swimmer, Ryan. Okay.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out. As long as I can run on the water. That's it.
Where's the hustle in that? You haven't swum in years. You've got the doggy paddle. Come on.
Have you not seen these
Ryan,
shoulders
I'll
of
be happy
mine?
to
Where do you
race
think they came from?
Wait. I'll be happy to race Ryan.
Oh, there you go. In the water or on the street? All right.
We'll have to talk about it.
Excellent. All right, that is it. So let's see, moving on. Public hearings, there are no public hearings, there are no ordinances for introduction. So next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with resolution R 2020-139, authorizing release of deposits for construction in a township right-of-way. R 2020-140, authorizing tax office refund as a result of a tax appeal. 2020-141, authorizing expenditures from the Pequannock Township Open Space Recreation Farmland and Historic Preservation Trust Fund. R 2020-142, authorizing the 2020 road resurfacing program through the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council for a total contract amount of $273,594.31. R 2020-143, authorizing the acquisition of an E55 Bobcat compact excavator through the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey Cooperative System. R 2020-144, authorizing a professional services agreement between the Township of Pequannock and Mazer Consulting for municipal engineering services. And R 2020-145, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the June 18th, 2020 bill list and the 2016 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Thank you, Ms. Marsh. Are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
I just have one quick thing, the excavator. Remind me again, is that a replacement or needed for a particular job? I'm just trying to figure out what that was, that excavator, the Bobcat.
It is a new piece of equipment, as discussed during the budget process. This is something that was desired because it's going to work well to deal with our drainage issues.
Right.
And dealing with culverts and other things, not culvert, dealing with drainage ditches and streams.
Yep.
So this is going to help us keep the water moving, which is obviously a priority for the town.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolutions 2020-139 through 2020-145.
And
Is there
I'll
a
second
second?
it.
Excellent. Ms. Marsh, roll call?
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Mr.
Yes.
Phelan,
Yes.
Mrs. Ruskell,
You're muted, Kyle.
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. All righty. Next on the agenda, items for discussion, and it's the appointments to boards, committees, and commissions. So, Mr. Brewer?
I'm going to defer to Ms. Marsh on this, as this has been scheduled more through her office than mine.
Ms. Marsh?
There are a couple of openings, and the council traditionally makes, or their policy says they can make appointments in January and June. There's been a little bit of craziness, so we're going to miss the June appointment, but if you were interested in making appointments, we should discuss them now and make an appointment at the next meeting, possibly. And I distributed documents that number the candidates for each of the open positions.
Got it. Council, are you interested in discussing this?
Yeah, I guess we could, and we'd be making the appointments at the next meeting, correct?
Yes.
Did everybody get the list of 1 through 9 with the names?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, Carol, I know I had requested them from you, so you did pass them. I know you had a summary list, and you had 2 or 3 names on the bottom, and they were from applications from last year. So I know I had asked you, so I didn't have to go digging for them. I got those to review, but then there was some extra ones that were not in that list. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
There were many applications from
Right.
last year, but they were all for other positions.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I
you just
only
highlighted,
gave, right,
Okay.
provided, right,
you just highlighted the ones that were available.
right, for which there were positions available.
Got it.
Okay.
So, planning board, how many positions are available?
1.
1 for planning board, 1 for historic. How many for parks and rec?
There's actually several for historic. The historic has a unspecified number of openings,
Right, I saw that.
up to a maximum of 12.
And then how many openings for park and rec?
1.
And historic?
Well, we said there was a few for historic. And
But,
planning
I don't
board,
think-
there's 1.
And we've got the 2.
So let me just find my little list here.
And how many were for historic?
Multiple.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my list. Had the big one.
All right, so I guess let's start with planning board. We've got 3 for one spot.
My recommendation would be number 2.
And I'm okay with number 2 as well. Anybody else have any questions?
I agree.
Going through my list, I had picked, number 2.
Good with 2.
All right, so number 2 it is for planning board. Now, historic, would all 3 of these be available to be on historic?
Well, my question is, there's more,
More up, right.
number 4 is looking for historic. There's a person that is also looking for historic that is not on our list that we have an application for.
Yeah.
Who I heard is very good. He's a
Okay.
younger gentleman, just graduated last year. He's an Eagle Scout. Does everyone have that application?
I do, if I can figure out where I just put it.
That would be number 10, right?
I guess number 10, yes.
Did I miss an application?
His initials are RL.
I don't have that.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
So I have to look on mine.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one for historic.
It came with all the other applications that I printed.
And it has a January 31st, 2020
Yeah.
stamp on
All right,
it.
bear with me, I just found.
I did miss
So
it.
Dave, are you making a recommendation?
I'm making a recommendation for number
Call it
4
number,
and
And I
number
second
10.
it. And
I don't have
second
number
it.
10. I only have 9.
I know, but do you have these, Kyle?
I think
Yeah,
I
that's what I was,
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm scrolling through. I have them on my phone.
No, I
Uh,
think there's another big set, and I didn't realize
Oh.
it was one application.
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I was referring to before.
I'm
It was
going
a little
from what you
confusing.
sent on, wait, let's,
I don't have access to the.
yeah, the initials are RL.
Let me see
I'm
if I
doing
can
that one
find
as
out
number
when it
10.
was sent.
I'm going with Dave's recommendations.
I think that's what I had too. I had number 4 from the list,
Number
and
10.
then
10's not on the list, but he's
and number 10. I know where you're going with that though.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
And Carol, how many seats are available on historic?
Up to 3.
Before I think there's another one, right, that we can put on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm recommending those 2.
okay, that's fine, Dave.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. I'll go with that.
And I'm okay.
All right, so you want to keep 1 seat open at this point? Yeah, okay.
I guess
So-
that leaves for now. Yep.
So then that leads us to Parks and Recreation, where we have 3 applications for 1 seat, correct?
Yes.
I think
All
number
right.
6 is a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's who I picked.
Yeah,
I
sure.
agree. I agree.
I'm good with that.
And there was only that one open, right?
You're muted, Kyle.
And it was only that one open for Parks and Rec.
Yes,
I
Yeah.
believe
Okay.
so,
So we're all in agreement, number 6.
yes.
Now, I have one question, Carol. There is an application for open space.
Yes,
Do we have an opening on open space?
we do.
Hold on.
I don't see
Yeah.
her name on the list.
Yes, you're right.
I thought that was withdrawn.
Maybe.
You get clarification on that one?
Her initials are KH.
Do you want me,
Right.
do you want me to find out if that's withdrawn and make up a resolution? If it's not, I can reach out to her tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah, perfect.
I would say yes.
I say yes.
I say yes if she's interested.
I think we should reach out to all of these people before the next meeting and make sure they're interested. There's no sense of us going through the
Yeah.
motions.
Right.
If they don't want
You
it,
know,
I'm
I
just-
agree with you also. And sometimes if there are any other committees that have vacancies, even if the person didn't check that box, you can ask them if they're interested. I mean, you would think that they would have checked the box if they were, so maybe not. But some of them did put in for 3 or 4 different things.
Let's say only if we're really slim on any.
Yeah.
So.
Correct. And I don't think we are, but.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are recently in May, so I would think that these people are still interested, but the one that's from January
Right.
Correct.
1st and January 10th and January 8th. So, there are, so definitely. But I think we're good on those.
Yeah, there are some older ones, though. You can just double check. Yeah.
I can double check.
So just for clarification for tonight, we've got planning board, 1 position, and that's going to be number 2. For historic, we've got 2 positions, number 4 and number 10, which is not technically on the list, on the printout list. For Parks and Rec, we've got 1 appointment, which is number 6, and then we've got a possible appointment for open space, which I'm leaving number 11 with a first letter of K, last letter of H. But Cal, you're going to call them up and just clarify. Okay.
I'll reach out to everyone.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks for bringing it up.
Let's see, reports and notices. There are no reports and notices. Next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. So Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Okay, real quick, I'll give you an update on the flood committee. If you have any questions, you can ask at the end. There's been a lot going on. They did meet. Jennifer McCulloch, our flood advocate, has been extremely busy, going over the home elevation projects. FEMA has started doing releasing the money and doing reimbursements. So Jennifer is deep into the filing of the FEMA reimbursements. So if I'm not mistaken, I think as of our meeting, there was most of them from 2015 and some from 2016. Is that right, Adam? Of reimbursements that are coming in so far.
Correct. Yeah, there was a bit of a logjam at the state.
Yeah.
And Jennifer did fantastic work in getting through that and getting us reimbursed.
Right. So in the 2015 elevation grant, there was originally 26 homes in that. That first project expires October 30th. And we're pretty much done with most of them. There was a few that had withdrawn out of that. So I think there's 16 completed, 3 were still under construction. And out of those 3, 2 were closer to the front end and 1 was almost done. So we're pretty much good there. 2016, that one's supposed to expire August 30th. However, we applied for a 1-year extension. There's 11 elevations completed there and 7 were under construction. Or plan review and developing plans, and 5 of those were withdrawn. 2018, there was 15 homes in that grant round. Congress appointed the funding, so now I guess we're just waiting for that to start, but that's all set. 2019, 16 homes were approved in our application, which is awesome. And we're awaiting congressional funding on that. So things are looking good. I'm trying to think what else. I know that the flood committee is working on a phone app. And Jen's helping draw up a requisition for that. The committee is going to use some of their money to get this phone app up and running. Trying to think what else. We finally got the de-snagging permit for the Pompton River. So correct me if I'm wrong with these dates, but I think, let's see, we got the permit. Today's what? We went out to bid already, right, on that?
Correct. We are currently out to bid.
Yeah. And then the bids are going to be open July 15th, and we're going to award the project July 28th, I believe.
Correct.
So that's moving along. And, I have to admit the committee did have a little bit of a question about the scope of work. I think the the chair was going to reach out with, the committee was just curious to know what the scope of that work is, and you might not have it at the tip of your hands, Adam. If you don't, maybe you can get back to us on that.
Yeah, I'm happy to communicate through the chair. My concern about sharing the documents is right now we're out to bid, so I don't want to have documents.
Right. Exactly. Okay, no problem. And then the regarding the map appeal, I believe we are still awaiting the decision from the scientific resolution panel, and that's due to be in by like July 2nd.
Correct.
But things are looking good there. So I think that's about it, unless somebody has questions. The flood committee will meet again on July 8th. And my economic development committee will meet on June 24th. We haven't met since the last meeting, so. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Real quick on the de-snagging, are they going to do anything for the tributaries? I know somebody was asking about Myers Brook and the offsets there. And so can we tell them July 28th? Are they doing all the tributaries or just the main?
Yeah. Well, I guess Adam's going to get an update on the whole scope of the work for us, and he's going to report to the chair, and maybe he can copy council on that.
No, I can say generally.
Oh, okay.
The Pompton desnagging project is specific to the Pompton River. It doesn't include the tributaries and has a defined scope of work. That said, we're working to try to deal with challenges with the flow of water, and anybody who continues to have issues, share those, and what Public Works can, they will do. We periodically go out and address areas where possible. Obviously, if permitting is needed, we can't tread on tadpoles and certain turtles and other things like that. But if there's a situation that we can get in and do some work either by hand or, again, using, the machine from a distance that we're authorizing the acquisition of tonight, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, Adam, I know the committee has passed along, in the past, we have passed some of that along. I guess we can continue to do that, but it should probably go through you first, and then you'll pass it along to DPW to have checked out. So if anybody hears from anyone about areas that, still have fallen trees or things that need to be addressed, we'll funnel it through Adam. He'll have it checked out. And if it's something, like he said, that DPW can get in and get out, they will. But
Myers Creek needs attention.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think they know that one. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Councilman Cole?
I don't have much. I attended the grand opening of PV Park on the Saturday. Kudos to everyone involved that put that together. I mean, the sand was wonderful. The guy that did the sand sculptures, he was there that day. There was the DJ, Dave, Kyle, what's his first name? Is it Dave?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
Dave Osterly.
Yes, he was there.
Yeah, it's in my report.
Yeah, fantastic. Everything looked great at PV Park. So kudos to everyone that was involved getting that ready so quickly. There was a good crowd. I got there a little before 2 o'clock. We opened at 2 o'clock. There had to be 60 to 70 people online at 1:45 waiting to get in, which was a good thing. And at that time, I think Tim might have said that the number of registered people were 600. So I'm glad that we're up to 9 something. And that's all I have. We had a quick meeting for planning board at 3 o'clock one day. We just had to pass a resolution. So that was the only thing really. It was resolution for the construction that's going to be taking place next to Casey's Bagels, that little cabinet shop there. Used to be Sneakers Unlimited. They got approval to go out the back, but DEP gave them a hard time about going out the back. So now they're just going to go over the top of the existing building. So we approved that at the last planning board meeting, and we approved the resolution. I think it was last Friday, maybe, or something like that. So it was good. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, happy Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day. Rich, Ryan, Bob. Bob, you're kind of quiet there, and Adam.
Thank you. All right. Up next, Councilman Phelan.
Okay, as everybody knows, I have a condition that I need to stay away from people, so I'm really not able to interact with a lot of people at this present time. I will say that Company 2 did have its company meeting last Thursday via Zoom, which was great. I will also tell you that somebody that I just recently hired joined PV Park. He does not live in town. He thinks it's great. He was very surprised on how clean the water is and how nice the park is. And that's basically all I have at this present moment.
Thank you, sir. All right, Deputy Mayor Russell.
Yes, library is open for pickup. 15 items total per family, 1 pickup per day. You can return items in the book drop. You can call the library to schedule your pickup. They'll leave it for you with your name on it in a bag. So that's good. Also, I want to point out that our First Lady is sponsoring an art contest, grades 3 through 12, and they're going to select 1 artwork to be included in an exhibit from each of the 50 states.
Cool.
The applications can be found on whitehouse.gov. It's grades 3 to 12. I know we have a lot of great artists in this town, so I thought that was interesting. Adam, did I hear today that our governor said July 2nd playgrounds can open?
The governor said a lot of things, and there was a tip-off that playgrounds were going to open. I have yet to read anything, so I remain cautiously optimistic. But assuming the actual order is consistent with what was reported, yes, we will be opening up the playgrounds.
Awesome. And I just want to remind everybody, and this is everybody, this isn't one side or the other, but when you get that mail-in vote for the July 7th primary, if you wish to go in person and you go in person, you will not be voting on a machine like you are used to. You'll be given a provisional paper ballot only. So keep that in mind when you vote for the primary on July 7th. And that's all I have.
Sorry, I just want to point out that there is an exception to that. And that's
handicapped, right?
if you're disabled to the point where you can't fill out a absentee ballot.
Right.
And it's a vocal vote.
So will polling places still be open, but not for electronic voting?
There is one polling place open at Senior House, and it is only for disabled voters who can't use paper ballots and for provisional ballots.
But that's for the entire town?
That's for the entire town. There's one polling place in each municipality in Morris County.
Got it. Okay. All right. Is that it, Ms. Russell?
That is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Just to echo, again, Myers Brook, I know we talked about it. And as just like the what do I want to say, paving in town, we do deal with all of our internal tributaries and whatnot. We keep on going through them, and anything we can do, we do. We do need the big permits for Pumpkin River, which I'm very happy to hear that we got that, so we can start working on that after we award the bid. PV Park, same thing. I stopped there the other day. It is beautiful. It's nice to have that in operation again, and can't wait to start using it. I'd like to thank, Mr. Portis, the entire staff over there, including all the teachers and everything. My kids just finished up school. It is now officially summer in the school season, and obviously for the last 3 months they've been working remotely, but I got to say, kudos to everybody. The teachers were awesome. It really did keep on working. The kids were still engaged. My kids were still in school and they still learn things. I know it was hard on everybody, but it's Mr. Portis' first year as superintendent. One heck of a year to be superintendent. He did a great job. And I want to thank him. I want to thank the staff, and I want to thank all the teachers. So that's it. And that's all I got. So anybody else have anything before we move on?
One other question. Carol, do we know, are we going to be invited to the high school outside graduation?
I don't know. I don't believe I've received correspondence on that, but I admit that I didn't go through my mailbox today.
Can you reach out, or do you want me to reach out, or?
I can reach out if you want.
Okay, just,
Sure.
yeah. I mean, we don't know what the number is going to be by then, correct? The number of outside people is it 500?
He said he was anticipating 500, but right now we're at 250. So
Right.
150, I want to say 157 students. So
I mean, I think it should be just as normal. I don't even know if teachers are going to be invited, but I mean, I think they should try to do, everybody that usually goes should, if they can, be allowed to go. So
I'll be there.
Because of my condition, I will not be there.
that is totally understandable, Rich.
But you'll be there in spirit, of course.
I'll get a picture and I'll hold it.
Perfect, Dave.
Beautiful. All right, so next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, please raise your hand, wait to be recognized, and provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Brewer.
We have a hand raised, Mr. Mayor.
All right, come on down.
Okay, Frank Spizzeri, 35 West Franklin Avenue, Pequannock, New Jersey.
Good evening, Frank. How are you doing?
All right, guys, I'm doing okay. And happy Father's Day to all you guys.
Thank you, sir. Same
How
to
was
you.
it to you, Frank?
Thanks. I wonder if Carol could just repeat what she was talking about with the ballot voting over at the senior house. I didn't quite get that.
Okay,
I do have a paper ballot, but I prefer to go in and cast my vote. But they're only going to give me another paper ballot. Is that what they're going to do?
that's correct. You would have to vote by provisional ballot.
But then they keep that and count it. Is that, or I have to mail it?
They keep that, count them after the absentee ballots or the vote by mail ballots are all counted, because they have to ensure that you didn't vote twice, right?
Right.
But it is an affidavit. You have to sign it. It's a paper ballot, just like it's another form of a paper ballot, and it's determined on a vote by vote basis whether it's accepted.
Now, Carol, there are drop-off locations for the mail-in ballot that Frank has now that are specifically for the mail-in ballots. Am I correct by saying that?
You are correct in saying that. I do have a list of municipalities that have them. I don't have it in front of me.
So, Frank, if you don't feel comfortable mailing it, you might want to consider filling out the mail-in ballot and getting the drop-off location from Carol and dropping it off.
Yeah, that's good.
Because, to be honest with you, I don't know how that provisional ballot is going to work, if it's going to be harder than, do we know, Carol, what it actually looks like? Is it harder than the regular mail-in ballot, or?
They do require more information, yes.
So where do you have a list of where the drop-offs are?
I can get it.
Okay. Can you forward that to me in an email so I know where to go?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that'd be great. That's all I have. I just wanted to cover that.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, pass it around, because unfortunately, the town clerks and county clerks really didn't have a lot of time with this mail-in to let people know the whole deal. And I think a lot of people, when they hear that there will be a poll open, are under the mistake that they're going to go, and they're going to be able to vote like we normally do. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
important for people to know that.
Yeah.
And there's a number of people that, think that paperwork that they got was a sample ballot, and it's not. It is the ballot that you need to fill out and mail back if you want to vote.
Yeah, there's two guys on there that I know. Just kidding.
There you go. Oh, just kidding. Thanks.
All
But
right.
it is true. Thank you, Frank.
Carol, to Kyle's point, maybe you can if you can send that information to us too, we can kind of pass it around or
And put it on
post it
Facebook.
on Facebook. And I don't know if you can can you put that on the website or no?
Some of it I can
put
put
my
on the
hand
website.
your hand down.
I will.
I'm sorry, what was that, Carol?
Okay.
I just want to make sure I wasn't moved. I can certainly forward you the information that I've
Yeah.
received from the
All
county.
right, did you click it off or no?
I will try to put some of it up on the website.
Great.
And I will certainly include a link to the county where they have the most up-to-date
Right.
information. Okay.
Thank
I was going to say, Melissa Ann sent me a great FYI that explains everything, because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, so I had contacted the county clerk because I thought that you could just go and vote for regular then. So that's why I've been trying to let everybody know that,
Yeah.
because I'm sure that day people are going to go there and
Right.
be up in arms that they're just getting another paper ballot. So,
Right. No,
I
I
think-
totally agree with you. So
I think we need to put on the website that there is only going to be one polling location. And
yes.
it will not have a regular voting machine there.
Right.
God bless you, Mr. Brewer. So I think that,
Thank
if we can put it on the website, I think that needs to go on the website to let people know.
Yes.
What about Cedar Crest? I mean, so they're also going to have to come down to Senior House?
If they don't vote by mail.
Okay.
It was actually, part of the limitation is it was very hard to get poll workers
Ah,
because,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to make sure that they know about that so they can make arrangements to have dial a ride or some way to get their people down there.
The best thing that they can do is vote by mail.
vote
Yeah.
by mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I had fairly extensive conversations with the directors of Cedar Crest and with
Okay.
the county.
Okay. All right, good. Anything else? Mr. Brewer, anybody else for public comment?
There is no one else with their hand up at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is minutes for approval. We have the June 9th, 2020. Are there any comments on these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the June 9th, 2020 minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Okay. All right, so next on the agenda is closed session. However, there are no items for closed session this evening. So there being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get
I'll
a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for attending.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Dave.
Bye.
Stacy,
Bye.
Frank,
Well,
and
Rich.
Brian.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Feel better, Rich.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.